credit cards. Teach kids about interest. Everyone I know growing up, I'm sure you'll be the same. As a kid, 18, 19, get your job. I can get a credit card, and they nail a credit card. £5 worth of debt when you're 21, whatever. Teach that in school, how things like that work, how a mortgage works, how credit cards work, how just general living works.
Well, they don't teach financial education in schools purely for the fact that they don't want people to know. They need debt slaves.
All of us who put content out now is that's your college course, that's your on-your-job training. You get so many apprentice people, lads, girls, saying thanks for putting that content out. I've learned more from your videos than we did at college. They've got to tick the paperwork, haven't they, at college? They've got to.
So mum and dad started the company back in 1981.
Oh, blimey.
So,
I was 2.
Yeah, 1981. So they started it from their garage. I think my parents had about £7,000 saved. And he took like the last £5,000 pretty much and just went, I'm going to go and buy a load of these. Didn't tell my mum, and a container turned up to my parents' house. So you imagine like a 40-foot container turning up to a residential area.
1981. Welcome to Off the Job Podcast. Today we have a couple of special guests on here. You might recognise them. They are the Trade Legends team themselves, Big Al and Mark Tiff. Which one of you is which? Because there's always confusion, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't confuse it.
Can't get me mixed up with anyone.
My teeth.
No. Al's teeth are synonymous with him, so everyone will know his teeth.
They are a beautiful set of gnashes.
They're
you
not
got
turkey.
They're not turkey.
No, these are Dorridge specials.
They are Ryland Clark ones, yeah?
Al don't travel out the country to have his teeth done. Keeps it British. Made in Britain.
I watch too much TikTok, and then you see all the horror stories where they have their teeth filed down.
When they go to like a point.
I'm feeling really conscious of my own right now because mine are like a row of bombed houses.
You're gonna have to sort that out.
So
like a witch doctor's necklace.
I really won't want to show you. I don't want to show you the bottom row.
Yours are all
I don't want to show you the bottom row. I'm not showing you the bottom row.
He's talking like this now.
I'm going to talk like this for the whole of the frigging.
Some people are really self-conscious about stuff like that.
I can't do anything about mine now. They're rare. You can't miss them.
They are beautiful sets,
like Wrigley's Extra, just like.
How did you two meet then?
How did we meet? It was.
How did we?
I was a guest on the podcast when Pete was doing it.
Oh yeah, and then because it's quite a weird one, isn't it? Because you used to work for the company that makes our beers for the podcast.
Oh,
so Mark used to deliver milk.
When I was 16.
The milk.
When I was 16,
I
was a milkman. I was a milkman.
He was a milkman.
Milkman at 16.
How many kids you got?
I've got 3 that I know of, 3 official, 3 that I pay for.
This is interesting.
The farm local to me was a dairy farm, so I was a milkman there. Then over the years, that's turned into a brewery.
Yeah.
And then when we met at, I think it was Tool Fair, the first time we ever met.
My memory.
Pete introduced us, got me on the show as a guest, and when I turned up for the show, we've got some beers here. Church Farm Brewery. So I went from Church Farm Dairy to Church Farm Brewery. Then I used to deliver their milk before there was a brewery as a dairy farm. So that was my in.
It's mad how things work out, isn't it?
I want to know about the milkman shit.
Oh, yes. He went somewhere. Oh, yes, I can milk a cow properly.
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
That was happening.
I think I even done this. There's a way to do. You go for the top down.
Can you show us
very erotic.
So I can.
Can you show us with a water bottle?
No, I can't because it was clipped up. TikTok the hell out of it. But yeah, there is an art to doing it.
What was that film? Was it Jim Carrey?
Ace Ventura. So as a milkman.
So you milked the cow and delivered it?
Yeah, done a lot. Milked it. I can milk it. They had a team milking them. A team. Sounds like a military operation. They had the milking side of it. I used to go out at 16, 17 while doing my apprenticeship, plumbing apprenticeship, Friday, Saturday nights delivering the milk. Yeah.
Madness.
It's funny how that links up though, that now you buy the beer.
So ironically,
the press fit.
What's that?
That's why you're good with the press fit.
Did you drive the float?
Officially, no. Unofficially, yeah.
Electric, was it electric one?
Yeah, so I have driven electric.
Yeah, see?
Oh, you've lured me in there, Pete. You've pulled me in. The original, yeah, used to have the milk float.
Milkmen are not around anymore, are they?
No, they ain't.
It's a shame, isn't it?
There are a few of them.
Shagging everyone's wife.
It was, wasn't it? It was always the milkman.
Collecting the money.
If you come at 7:30, that'd be just fine.
But yeah, you don't see them much anymore, milkmen.
No, but I think they are about, but very, very...
I think a lot of them used to get robbed, didn't they?
They always moan about plastic waste now, but everything was in a glass bowl back in the day.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was, and it all got recycled. The glass all got recycled. Do you remember that?
We had to take the empties back. You pick them up, put them in the crates, take them back, redo them.
Yeah, do you remember the milk adverts when they used to say, didn't they? They used to say, like, we've been recycling for years, like, sort of thing. And then they'd have, like, Linford Christie racing a milk float.
That's right,
Do you
he used to do it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Accrington Stanley was the best.
Was that a milk advert?
I think it was a milk advert, wasn't it?
Who were they? Exactly.
Wasn't that a milk
Oh, yeah, it was,
Was
wasn't
it a milk advert?
I think it was, wasn't it?
Accrington Stanley.
My dad says, John Barnes, wasn't it? Or something,
If I don't drink
lots of milk, I wouldn't even be good enough to play for Accrington Stanley.
Accrington
Stanley.
Who are they?
Yeah. Exactly.
Was that a milk advert?
That's when you show your age, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know, we're proper old.
I didn't know we
old
could talk
school.
about milk for 5 minutes.
Milk. We've got milk.
You wait till you hear him. You start on TV.
Oh yeah, go on. Go on.
First dates.
Go on. Oh, really? I know somebody else was on first dates.
You weren't a woman, was it?
I was on Undateables.
Undateables.
No, first dates I was on, yeah.
Was you?
I was, yeah.
Was it your missus you met?
No, so the funny thing about that is there's a TV programme called Celebs Go Dating.
Yeah.
And the girl that used to be the person that set celebrities up on their dates.
Hang on a minute, Al. I know you got a successful podcast, but you're not a celebrity, bruv. All right.
Get that wrong from the start.
This will make you laugh. So I went on first dates, and basically it was like, at the time, I'd been going on Plenty of Fish, loads of dating apps to go on dates, because I was just getting fed up with the dating scene. Decided to go on this, and the woman that I got a date with was called Nadia Essex. So if you look her up, you can have a little look, bring it up on the screen.
Right,
Does she still come up?
And she started presenting Celebs Go Dating. She later got kicked off the show. I don't know why, but she used to present that programme, and obviously they stuck me on a date with her. But if you ever dig it out and watch it, obviously she's like, yeah, he's so masculine.
When was it?
all this sort of stuff. But it was on the first season. So people can go and watch it. They won't even recognise me, which is great because
it is on YouTube, isn't it? It's knocking around. Is it? Because you bring it up now and again.
Gotta find this.
It's knocking around somewhere.
If we
How
find
did you end up
put
going on that show?
Put it on.
But the best one was obviously after I'd been on the show. Probably about 2 weeks later, I got spotted out, and my mates were like, "This is great! Somebody let me into a bar for free." All this sort of stuff. They were like, "You've only been on a shit dating show." And then we went to Reading Festival, and I'm in a crowd of 70,000 people, and literally this guy and this girl turned around and went, "What was he on, babe? What was he on?" It was like, first dates. My mates were like, "This is fucking ridiculous."
Legends. The guy's a legend.
Absolutely ridiculous.
How did you end up on that then? Did you apply
there was a girl originally who was on the one of the first shows, and it said, if you want to date Faye, you know, like, just put yourself forward. And Faye was an absolute rocket from Burnley. So I thought, right, I'm going to put myself forward. I was doing sales at the time for the business, and I was in a hotel in Bournemouth. I thought, why not? Just went on there and never expected to get selected. And then it was like, no, we've paired her with somebody else. Do you still want to go on the show? And I was like, well, might as well. Shits and giggles. So,
do you have like a screening thing? You know, you have to do it online
and
the video.
Because they asked me what my favourite chat line was, which was "Your eyes are like spanners. Every time I look into them, my nuts tighten." And I said that. I honestly said that, and then they went, "Can you say that again, but slower?" And I said it, and when they edited it, it made me look like a tard. Like, you know, I was like, they've done me dirty there.
So what? So you went on the date with the bird then as well?
Yeah.
You go on the date,
and then obviously.
Where did you go?
She's about this big. No disrespect, Nadia, if you ever get to see this, but she was about this big, wearing shoulder pads. Not my cup of tea.
Right.
And I thought just to, you know, I didn't want to come across and be like, nah, she's not my type, blah blah blah, and slagging her off and stuff like that. So they were like, do you want to go on another day? And I sort of passed it back to her, and she'd been in there going, oh, he's masculine, he's funny, he's a real nice guy.
She speak just like that?
Oh, when you watch it.
Oh, did she? Yeah. I thought that was like a piss take.
And all my mates were like, is she talking about the right guy? You're rebelling, that type of thing. But yeah, didn't go on another date with her. And they were saying, do you want to come back on the show? I was like, no, once is enough for me.
Yeah.
So
I've always wanted to go on a game show. Always wanted to do.
Which one?
Deal or No Deal.
I tried to get on there.
Did you?
I got through because they phoned me, and I had a on the phone audition.
Right.
And she went, "Oh, it's from Deal or No Deal," and I went into like hyper mode with her. I just went hyper on her, and she goes, "Okay, we'll let you know in a few weeks." Right?
That was it.
No. Half hour late, she phones back. She goes, "Peter, I really want you to come on and try it out." So I've gone to it. Right? I can't remember where it was. Up somewhere in London, somewhere, and we all go in this big room and all that, and then they put you in certain situations, like so. And I know what this was before I'd done any of this. Like it was
before you stand up and everything.
Before any of it, and I was like proper nervous. I was like, "Oh, I don't." And I was going, "Tell us about." I think I would have gone through that, not being big-headed or anything, but what I know now, what you have to say to get on these shows. And they asked me this question of what is the most memorable thing you can think of? And they just come out with something so bland, right? And it sounds thing like oh, it's the birth of my kids, blah blah blah.
Generic,
and it's just generic. Do you know what I mean? It's not standing out. You're not hitting anyone with it at all, and I didn't go through. So, but yeah.
What would it have been now then? If they asked you that question,
what would it have been now? I don't know. It'd be something stupid like today's the greatest day. I've got to come to fucking like Deal or No Deal, man. Yeah, fucking man.
Yeah, because they want the hyped up version of it.
I'd end up with the box with a quid. Is it a quid?
One penny?
1p, yeah.
I do it, but my luck, I'd end up with fucking, half a penny or something. Like, do you know what I mean?
With no box.
Yeah. No box. So there's nothing in this
box
one.
got robbed.
Absolutely nothing.
What would you do, Keiran? Would you go on one?
I'd go on
if you could pick a game show to go on. Look at us.
He's trying to get on Gladiators. He's trying to get on
Gladiators.
He's trying to get on Gladiators.
My uncle's on the old one.
His uncle was a Gladiator.
Who?
Cobra.
Which one was that?
You haven't watched that.
Yeah, like
he's got the same hair, hasn't he?
It was going to go wolf. I was going to go wolf. Which one was Cobra?
I'd probably go on like Crystal Maze or something.
Crystal Maze would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Was it long hair?
No, short hair.
Short hair.
Short blonde hair. He always done like. We
had him on here.
We had him on here. He always done like the roundhouse kick and all that. It was kickboxer.
Yeah, Crystal Maze would be good.
Yeah.
You got asked I can imagine him hosting Crystal Maze.
Tell him what you got asked to go on recently.
Oh yeah.
Hello, mother.
I got asked to go on a show. They asked me to go on, Maths UK. They asked me to go on this series. They asked me to go on this series now. No.
Go on, just so I can go.
They phoned me last year.
Oh no,
they phoned me last year. Not phoned me. They contacted me through Instagram. They asked me. They said. And after what we just spoke to before this, right? So they said to us, they went, "Would you want to come on to Married at First Sight?" And I was like, "I'll be honest with you." I said, "I've just come out of a relationship."
And they're like, "Brilliant."
I've just come out of a marriage, and I'll be quite honest. I can't think of anything worse than marrying someone I've never met. Do you know what I mean?
I knew that one.
And they went, "Okay, that's fair enough." They went, "Have you got any friends that we could that you could recommend?"
Are you single?
And I went, I'll be honest.
I said, "There's got to be someone."
I wouldn't recommend any of my mates getting married either. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I did get offered it. My bird at the time, she goes, "Well, just go on it." Yeah. I went, "No, I ain't going on that. No way."
It's mad that they source the people for these shows through social media.
I
got one the other week, a dating show that came through to me. Sorry, Jazz, because I never told my missus about it. I'll just delete the message. I was like, I'm not interested. But I can't remember which one it was.
What was the other one? The other one was was it Death? Is it Death on the Highways? There was a program out where it's sort of like Gogglebox style.
Yeah.
And people are watching crashes.
Yeah.
Something on the highway or something like that. So the woman said, we've seen your TikTok.
And they're commenting on the crashes they're seeing.
And saying whose fault it is and all that. And I went, yeah, I'll have a go at it. Anyway, so I was at my customers at the time. And I went, I just need to borrow your computer room just to have this conversation on the phone with somebody off a TV programme. Like, yeah, that's all right. So I've gone in their office. And on the phone, I could not see shit. My eyes were terrible. So they're going, we just want you to comment on this crash. And I'm watching it. I'm going, I really can't see what you've done wrong now.
Signal manoeuvre.
Has he done something wrong?
6-car pilot fatalities, and he's like,
I really can't see what the issue was. I can't see it, and obviously I didn't get that either.
Yeah, you didn't get that gig.
No, I didn't get that.
So is this a thing now? We've got to try and get him on a game show.
Oh.
I'll go on a game show.
I'd love to go on a game show.
I reckon when we were in the office, we just sign him up for a load.
Sign him up for a load. But apparently,
I
know someone, a mate of mine's mum, years ago, went on a cooking show. I don't know, whatever it was. But she said once you've done one, you're banded round that whole circuit. She got
like
offered.
A sheep or
literally banded like a piece of meat.
He's not a celeb yet, but I want to see him like on Dancing on Ice or something.
Bambi on ice.
Do you know what? I'd never do it. If I was a celebrity, I'd never go on, especially not the ice skating one.
Strictly.
Yeah, no.
I'll do strictly.
I can't
imagine you mixing spandex.
I can't remember like moves like dance moves and that. I'd never get that in my head. I'd never be able to do that. I think to myself, how these people learn that stuff, especially on the ice, is mental.
Yeah.
Do you remember that old
Dirty Dancing now?
Picking Keiran up. You should really like that. Nobody puts Keiran in the corner.
I'd love to. This is going a bit more serious now. I'd love to know more about Unilight and how it sort of started. And
so, Mum and Dad started the company back in. Oh God, I'm testing my maths here. 1981.
Oh blimey!
So,
I was 2.
Yeah, 1981. So they started it from their garage. Basically, my dad always wanted to have his own business, and at the time they just finished building the first house that I was born into. My dad built the whole house. Took him 6 months, but he got all these samples from all around the world. Back in those times, it was to type a letter on a piece of paper and send it over. There was no real fax machines or anything like that, emails. So he'd been getting samples from all over the world. And he said, I'd gone into this hardware store and seen like a product that looked similar to something that I'd got from Korea. And he was like, how much is that to the guy? And they said, oh, it's such and such. And he thought, hold on a minute. So he went back home and he was like, got all these like quotations out that he'd been sent. And he was like, I can get them for, I think it was 25p at the time. And he was like, 25p? They were selling them for £2.50 in the store. And he was like, hold on. So he decides he's going to get back in contact with this factory. Anyway, he took the last, I think my parents had about 7 grand saved. And he took like the last £5,000 pretty much and just went, right, I'm going to go and buy a load of these. Didn't tell my mum, and a container turned up to my parents' house. So you imagine like a 40-foot container turning up to a residential area.
1981.
And my mum was like, basically, what the fuck have you done? Do you know what I mean? And he was just like, well, I've just ordered these. Like, and my mum was like, but where the fuck are you going to keep all of these products, basically? And he had them stacked up in the garage, stacked up in wardrobes underneath the bed. And he basically went out on weekends because he had a job at the time. And
what did he do?
He used to do stuff for Ford and for car places. He used to test motorbikes for BSA. He's always been like...
mechanically minded.
He basically loved using his hands because he wasn't very academic. Yeah. He left school with like pretty much no qualifications. And on weekends, he would get all these products, he'd load them into his car, and he'd go around, because back then it was just, you walk into, they had smaller hardware stores that were just like more like greengrocer shops. And he went round, and I think he did £60,000 in his first 3-4 months of doing that.
In the 80s.
And my mum just went,
yeah, we'll get another one. Get another container.
My mum was like, what are you going to do now? Because obviously you're selling quite a lot of these. And my dad was like, I'm going to pack my job in. So bearing in mind, I think my mum had just realised she's pregnant with me. They've just built this house. Obviously, my dad was like fucking mortgaged up to my eyeballs. He said, and I kept spending all the money that we were making off these, just reinvesting them back in. Yeah. And that's how it sort of started. And then we went down the route of doing like Thomas the Tank Engine torches and some other bits and pieces.
Remember the blue one with the Thomas the Tank Engine face on it?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
It's his old man knocking them out.
He sold 1 million of them.
Oh, really?
Blimey.
Still got some at Unilight knocking around.
Sold 1 million of those.
Any others that we...
Where the face used to shine on the wall.
Yeah.
Didn't you do like was there an Action Man one as well?
He did an Action Man one, and then the Gulf War broke out. So he was like, can't...
That's never happened before.
It's
usually me.
No? Imagine if it was... Have you seen that one where the thing goes up the guy's ass?
Yeah. I've seen that, yeah.
There's a trapdoor. There's a trapdoor under there.
Yeah.
And so he basically just kept reinvesting the money back into the business. They eventually bought like a smaller unit on a smaller industrial estate not far from where we are, probably about 10 miles, and then moved the business over to Redditch, where we're based now, and sort of moved around different locations on the one trading estate. And then I sort of joined the business. My sister joined the business first, and then she was trying to run the business. But by this time, my dad had moved to Australia. Parents got divorced when I was 8.
Oh.
Dad moved to Australia, and then he put another lady in charge of the business who basically ran it into the floor. And then when I came into the business, it's 5 times bigger than when she left.
Right.
Did you always want to get into that, like growing up?
No, well, I worked in the music. I was working for Warner Music.
Yeah, I remember you saying that before. Yeah.
In the music business, and
living your best life.
Yeah, well, I trained as a sound engineer, so I've gone to uni to do sound engineering. Realised that there was no money in like just being in a studio and doing sound engineering, because it was sort of people were making music at home, and I could see the way it was going. You could just produce music in your bedroom.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, I need to get into something else. And the only other thing I could go into was live sound. But literally, it's 16-hour days. Everyone's a raving cokehead. And I thought, it's not the life for me. Do you know what I mean? You're touring around all over different places. You're never in one place for more than like half a day.
Yeah.
And I thought, right, I'm going to go into the music business. And then suddenly realised when I got in there that this big antiquated dinosaur was dying because of illegal downloading and all that sort of stuff.
And I couldn't play an instrument.
And then got made redundant in 2007, something like that, just before the financial crisis.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, look, son, stop fucking around. He says, I know you're down in London, living in London, having a good time, shagging, partying, whatever else it is that you're doing. He said, I need you to like come and help the family business, basically, because I think he probably saw what was happening to it. And then I came back, and the woman that was running it, she didn't like that I was in the office and that I was seeing what was going on. And in the end, she said, oh, well, it's either him or me, to my dad. And my dad was like...
It's only going to go one way, isn't it?
My dad was like, well, unfortunately, blood's thicker than water, so off you go. And then me and the sis built the business up to where it is. Where it is now,
nice.
basically. So,
Yes.
and we sort of completely changed the product line, who we aimed at, the colours, the branding, everything completely changed.
Yeah, because it was blue before, wasn't it? You walk down the stairs.
We do a product that was green and try and aim it at camping. We try and do something that was blue, and we had stuff that was orange. There was no like...
So is it worldwide as well? Is it?
Yeah.
Like, is it
selling to 53 countries now.
So is it, have you got like in Australia, is there like a place in Australia?
Yeah.
Like,
so I was in... my dad lives obviously in a place called Noosa, and I went into, I think it's Total Tools in Noosa, and our products are in there. Nice. So, like when you travel 10,000 miles around the world and you walk in somewhere and you can see something that you've designed.
Nice. That feels like an achievement, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
It's nice to see that,
So
because you think...
So those places that are around, because there's obviously Poland, New Zealand, Australia and that, are they franchises?
No, so we have... Obviously, now that we've been brought, it's a slightly different setup, but before we would have individual distributors in those countries, and a lot of brands, they used to just sell to everybody in that jurisdiction, but I always felt it was better to have one individual distributor that you backed, that you can really drive business through, because in essence they become a smaller version of you.
Yeah.
If you have too many distributors, you just piss everybody off because they're all competing with each other. But yeah, we're in 53 countries now.
How did you learn all that? Because obviously coming from sound to like running a business, and like, how did you...
What was that transition like?
So this is another weird one. I used to do like sort of drum and bass nights and stuff like that. So I used to do promotion.
Are you an MC? Please tell
Come
me you're an
do
MC.
I did used to drum and bass MC. No, I'm not doing it on it. I'm not fortunate. So, but I used to, obviously I love drum and bass, but I used to promote drum and bass nights and stuff like that. So I feel like I took a bit of that, where it's really hot. There was so many gigs back then. So to try and make something seem a bit different or a bit better, it was how you branded the flyer, like where you were handing out flyers, like how many flyers do you order, all that sort of stuff. And it was, I think, working alongside the music business, and you see the big marketing machine that they build these superstars with, I sort of thought, hold on a minute. And then when I moved into the business, we were located just around the corner from Gymshark. So I was watching what Ben was doing and thinking, hold on a minute, if it works for clothing, surely if I send products to accounts that I just love, like I never wanted anything back off anybody. I was just like, I just want you to use the product. Like it's enough for me that you're using the product and you love it. So we started sending products out to everybody. And I remember the sis going, fuck, you've sent out 20 grand's worth of product there. I was like, but if people love it, they're going to show it off.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening, some of the accounts that we sent stuff out to had 5,000 followers at the time, and now they've got 1.1 million. And they were like, because you supported us when we didn't have anything, we'll always do you a favour. And they've never said to me, oh, we want paying for this or whatever. And that's how the business grew.
So you sort of had a strong marketing sort of head.
I felt like I understood the customer. weirdly, it was like I've never done it. I can't even fucking hang a picture.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, he's one of them. He's a Josh.
But I
He's a
always,
Josh, is he?
I always felt like I could understand what a tradesman or woman wanted from a
Yeah.
product, if that made any sense. It was not easy to do, but it was like, I think if you just watched people on social media, that's the best tool ever, because you can see how people are using stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or where they're using it. And each time I was watching somebody, I was like, oh, okay, I could make that, but I need to make it do that because somebody's using it here. And people go, how did you think of that? And it's just watching what people are doing. So watching your videos. And that's how the business grew, really.
How many countries was it in when you sort of went in?
4.
4.
And we're in 53 now. So it's a big jump.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, that's very good growth. What were the challenges, would you say, sort of getting it to that point?
If I was honest, I wish I'd have gone into the business earlier now, because it would have given me more time when I didn't have kids to potentially go over and set up a distribution centre in France or somewhere in Europe, and then do the same in the US, because that's the only way that you can expand and be genuinely like a big multinational brand. You know, like you'll see Gymshark, the first thing they did was they went over to the US and they got third-party logistics partners set up, how they had in the UK. They did it in Europe. They did one in Australia, and they got the logistics side sorted. Without that, you're buggered.
Yeah.
And I just wish I'd have had more, because as soon as you get kids, you're like, well, I don't want to be over there for 6 months away from my children. So I just wish I'd have done that probably slightly different. And I think that we probably would have been 4 times, 5 times the size that we are now.
Yeah, you can never regret anything though, can you?
I have no regrets. I just wish I'd have started sooner. That's it.
But you've now sold
the business, yeah.
Sold the business, and you're still working.
Still working there.
With
So
the business.
still working there. I mean, my thing is, even though I've sold the business, it's still my family's name.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. And my thing is, I want to see the business succeed. And the idea was, if I ever left the business, I could be like, well, now it's 20-30 million turnover, and then I've achieved that.
Yeah.
Do you know? Nobody can take that away from you.
So, what does your dad feel about it all?
He's well, depends, because he's had a stroke. He's sort of some days he's not happy about it, and other days he's like, oh, we did the right thing. Especially when you see the budget, when Labour have come out and clobbered you if you sell a business.
Yeah.
But he had an attachment to it. I had an attachment to it. It's my whole family name. Like, even my parents getting divorced was to do with the business.
Yeah.
Because they argued about the business. You got 2 kids, massive mortgage, stress of running a business. People don't realise that sometimes.
So we spoke about that coming down, and I said to you, what was that pivotal point of accepting to sell it? Because it's been the family that long.
Yeah.
And I said to you, didn't I? I went, at what point? And you said you'd been offered a few times, hadn't you?
No, we've had offers like over the years and just knocked them back. And I think what the issue was this time is my sister's not very well, and I run the business with a sis. And I sort of looked at how the business went with my mum and dad, and I thought, sometimes actually there's more to life than
Yeah, you've got to put that
than the,
first
than,
sometimes,
than the money. And I thought, I don't want it being where I keep my sister there against her will, and 5 years from now she's dead. Do you know what I mean? Sister's my best mate, so I was like,
I'm sorry to hear she's ill.
yeah. She's not like ill, like gonna die, but she's got a few health issues, and you have to sometimes put money second, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think.
Did you feel a weight off your shoulders when it?
Yes and no.
Because they say it's quite
Yes and no.
stressful selling a business.
It's stressful because you're looking at how much it costs you with solicitors and tax advisors and all that sort of stuff. But then you're also sort of thinking, could this collapse at any time? Because if it collapses, you're about 40, 50 grand in that you've spent on these people to advise you and help you with something. And then you sort of think, well, I need to get this signed, and they're putting pressure on you, you're putting pressure on them, and you're thinking, it does become stressful. But once you've done it, it's not a weight off my shoulders, because then I have to tell the staff. And some people just don't understand it. They just think I'm going to lose my job, which obviously we sold to the people that we did because it was guaranteed that nobody'd be losing the job. This is the plan that we've got for you. We want to retain the staff. We want to stay in this building. Because I thought, well, if I sell it, do they get rid of all the staff and take it to their other office?
How was it telling the staff? Did they know about it? Because that's sort of one of the hardest things, I suppose.
So my sister, she goes, I think we should go and tell them. I said, right, okay. Then I walked out, and then I turned, and she was miles behind me. And I thought, well, I've got to start telling them now, because we just told everybody, we got an announcement to make.
I could just picture it, that scene in Wolf of Wall Street. when he stood with the microphone.
It was
Right.
I worried because these people have been most people that come and work for the business have been there now like 10 years. So they're like part of the
Feel
unit.
like a family.
Yeah,
sort of.
yeah. And you know that people are going to instantly worry about the job.
Yeah.
The only bit that really sort of semi-upset me about the whole thing was probably only 3 members of staff actually said, "Oh, congratulations." And these are people that obviously I've done so much for over the years, and even now they go, "Oh, God, it was so much better when you guys were running the business." Do you know what I mean? And you sort of sit there. Nobody's happy for your success. If that makes any sense. I'm not asking. Like, I'm not a martyr. You know, I've had a nice payout from it, but it's just nobody ever goes, "Congratulations, I'm happy for you."
Yeah.
It's always, "Oh God, I'm going to lose my job. Oh, they're treating me like shit new owners." Oh, you know, and that sort of stuff. And you think, I'm happy for anybody.
Yeah.
If you said to me, "Oh, you know, I've just done this. I've done a big job." Well done, mate.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes in England and the UK, it's
Yeah, there's always that.
the glass is always half empty.
No one likes seeing other people do well. Whereas I'm like,
I just think there's a negative.
Yeah,
like
and it's horrible.
Brits are very conservative about everything. Oh, I don't like change. Oh, glass
Yeah.
half empty.
but if you've done something, fucking well done, mate. Chuffed to bits for you.
And
Yeah.
I feel like we should be more. Oh, you know, I've just seen you do that. Well done, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes 2 seconds to say well done to somebody, rather than being, "Oh, what's that person?"
It's better to be positive, innit, than, like you say, just take a negative spin on everything. Because, I mean, I used to be a bit like that, to be fair. I got to hold my hands up. In the past, I've looked at things a little bit negatively.
Social media makes it like that.
Yeah. The
And-
negative's so draining on you.
Yeah.
It just absorbs all of you.
But you don't realise it at the time. That's the difference, isn't
Yeah.
it? Because now I just try and say to people, I try and say things like when I'm trying to think of something and where I'm going to go, I just think that's how that's going to happen. That's how that's going to pan out. Every day I say to myself, this X, Y, Z is going to happen.
Yeah.
A few years' time, X, Y, Z, this is
Manifest
going to happen.
it.
That's it. And I only go with positivity now. And I say it. Shit. And I say it to my friends
see that
around
happening,
me. Yeah,
did you?
no. I say it to my friends around me. Like all you got to do is think positive.
Yeah.
Just positive. That's all you got to think. And it will happen.
Yeah.
It will happen.
Yeah.
You say it out loud and you think it, it'll happen. I believe that.
You just got to find happiness in yourself and be content.
I mean, the thing, everybody gets to where they need to go. It just takes people different. You know, they're on a slower bus.
Yeah.
That's what I try and say to people. I say I've been lucky that. I mean, even when I was like in my 20s, I was thinking, God, I'm looking at some of my mates who've been to uni. They're in these high flying jobs. You know, blah blah blah. And now I don't even think about it because I just think, actually, I've got 3 kids at home. I've got my health. I've made a few quid, and you know, what else? What else do you need? Really?
Yeah.
Do you
Content.
know? Yeah.
Do you want to start anything else, or what's the plan?
At some point, maybe. At some point, I've gone into property. So this is the property company that I've got, and bought a few properties. I've got the podcast, which you know is in essence its own business. But I probably would.
What was the reasoning around the podcast?
So the podcast was.
I remember when you started talking about it.
So it was basically I'd looked and people were slagging off podcasts saying, "Oh, the shit, they don't work," and I thought. I'm always interested, like I'm talking to you guys now, because I feel like every person I talk to, doesn't matter what job they do, whether you work on the bins or whatever, I always feel like I can learn something off somebody. Somebody's going to educate me. I'm getting educated every day. And when I bring people on, yes, okay, I don't understand it from your perspective of being in the trade, but it would help me design products for you, and it would help me understand that you guys get so bogged down in this, and this. If I can just make your life 3% easier, then you're going to stay loyal to the brand. And the other thing which occurred, which I never thought of, was because I was getting people in to say thank you, here's some products. People were going away and showing the products off, and actually over time it became a marketing tool for the business.
Podcasts are pretty much marketing tools, really.
But I didn't start it for that. I just started it because I wanted to chat to people and get to know the people that I speak to on Instagram. Because you speak to people on Instagram, but you don't actually know them.
No.
We've got that many people on where you go, get so-and-so on, and then when you hear the backstory, you're like, bloody hell.
Yeah.
You're proper involved. But the one for me, I mean, I didn't do it, but the story of it was Kev, Paint Warrior. When you get him on and listen to his story, you're like, Jesus Christ. And then everybody has got something, some story.
I mean, you was a milkman.
It's a milkman. Yeah, but everyone's got that backstory, haven't they? And
Yeah.
getting that out of people. Everyone sees the persona on social media of what you're putting out there. But
People can talk about products and regs and that sort of stuff. That's fine, but I always feel like we're in the trades sphere, the community. So why wouldn't you want to get to know?
Well, it's like when I come on it myself, and I said to you about it. I started going on about my mum and dad being blind, and he was like,
"Yes,
the thing is with Pete is like I can never tell when he's joking.
That's what he said.
Like
is this like a joke?
Well, you didn't know his mum and dad was blind.
No, and he goes, no, and I was like, is he fucking with me? You know, and then he's trying to twig like that, and then like it was with Pete, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and Pete goes,
Tyson, wasn't it?
And Pete goes, no, he is, and I was like, oh fuck.
But yeah, that's the thing with podcasts as well. You're doing a good thing because you're sharing people's stories and making awareness on anything they've gone through. So it's...
But it's like, you know, like especially with blokes, is you never talk about like mental health or I'm having a shit time. You know, like you might talk about it to a couple of people, but the amount of people that go, I know somebody who's committed suicide, or I know somebody that's. And I feel like even getting people on and people go, I can relate to what he's saying now. I'm in that exact same scenario. I'm not on my own doing it.
Exactly. That's one of the things that I get most satisfaction out of doing, just in general, social media, with the amount of people who say, I can relate to that, what you said there. Or like today I was feeling a little bit shit, but after watching your video, now I feel a little bit like, do you know what I mean?
Took the edge off their
took the edge
shitness.
of the shitness. And when you get a message, like that don't happen all the time, but when you get a message and you think to yourself, do you know what, I might have made a difference to somebody's day there. Do you know what I mean? The same with you, like when you're sharing relatable content with people who are talking about things going through the same things, then people think to themselves, hey, like you say, well, it ain't just me. Like this
the amount of people that sit and think that they're the only one going through it, be it work, family stuff, business, anything, there's always someone else going through that. And you just share that little bit of a chat, a bit of knowledge out there, and like you say, it just helps someone, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's like we talk. I won't go too deep into it, but we was talking before, like going into like a lot of tradesmen, and it happens in all walks of life. And I think, but when you're running your own business, and there's a lot of tradesmen, tradeswomen, possibly out there as well, who are going through a divorce or something like that. That is very, very hard for them to juggle it all. Do you know what I mean?
It's hard because you know when you go home you've got that to contend with, but then when you're in somebody's house and you're doing work, you've got to be all.
Yeah.
And also you're alone with your thoughts. If you work on your own, self-employed on your own, you're alone with your thoughts all day.
Yeah.
And then you know you've got to go. You get in the van and like that.
Yeah.
But even especially with our game, plus you've got to massively concentrate on what you're doing. With gas work, with water, you do something wrong and you flood someone's house because your mind's elsewhere thinking about that.
Yeah.
It's got to be stages within that day.
It's very difficult because that your whole life has been turned upside down. So then contending with, just like say me for an example, I've had to change the layout of my van. Because I've got 3 kids. Yeah. I've not got a car. I've got a van. So I've had to change the whole layout of it to contend with like having 3 kids, transporting them places, doing school runs before going to work. You get on site at like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
That's stressful enough.
You know what I mean? We always say if you don't get on site till 10 o'clock, like it's not great when you're trying to get. You're working alongside builders, you roll up at 10 o'clock and you get your tools
Well, thanks
out.
for coming.
Do you know what I mean?
All
Yeah.
that sort of
by the
stuff.
time you've got your tools out, and we know by the time you get to like 11, 12 o'clock, half the day's gone already, and you're trying to get that work. It's a challenge mentally as well as obviously physically.
Because then as well, you'll then think, I've got to pick him up from school at 3 and you can't get into your day.
Yeah.
I did it. When I split with my missus, I was, funnily enough, I got divorced, sold my house, and it was at that point I started and went on my own. So I moved back to my sister's, sold the house, split with the missus, and my sister went, well, you've got nothing, no mortgage, etc. Go on your own. Give it a go. You've got nothing to lose. You can live here. So it was at that point I went, right, we'll have a complete change. Went on my own 20 years ago now. And it was, I'll give it a go. 20 years later, you're still doing it. But at that point, I had a little Astra van, so I had to change the van for a 3-seater because I had kids, picking them up, taking them to school. So that had to change. But it's all that knock-on effect that people don't see. You're at work, you're stressing about what's coming, and
that's why I have people on the show, because it's sort of when they do talk about stuff like that, people can relate to it.
And it's not about getting the violins out or anything. It's just about people having to understand that change, because if you're a routine man as well, and your whole routine has to change because of certain situations, that can cause that up there, can't it? To go a little bit wonky sometimes, isn't it? And
could throw everything out.
Yeah. But it's like.
But we always tend to, anything we say, perfect thing. British people will just get through it.
Yeah.
We'll make it work.
Stiff upper lip.
Yeah, we will. We'll do it. If I've got to do that, I've got to do that. And if I've got to leave at 2:30 to pick the kids up from school, I've got to do it. I mean, the plasterer can have a pop at you, but I'm still doing it.
I mean, my take on it, because again, I'm not a tradesperson, but even like the stress of not getting paid, because I know tradespeople like trying to get somebody to pay for a job is literally like an Olympic sport. So you've got all those pressures on you. And again, starting the podcast for us was to sort of get people on to offer advice.
Yeah.
Even people starting out like apprentices watching the show go, oh, I never would have thought of doing that.
Yeah.
Or starting a limited company?
Yeah.
Because you don't get taught it at school, do you?
No.
Yeah, a lot of people are good on the tools, but they don't know how to run a business.
Yeah.
Which is why
learned-
I decided to do it. But then I've got
They don't teach you to put shelves up at school either, do they?
That's why I can't.
Do you know? But I mean, it's having this conversation earlier. In schools, they should have, like, we know we have that technology and stuff like that, but they should have basic lessons.
I don't want to build a fruit bowl. I don't want to make a fruit bowl.
Let's put a raw plug in a wall and show people how to do that. Do you know what I mean?
Like I've been saying, school should be, when you get to your GCSE years, people should know actually you're not academic and offer stuff where you can learn a skill, and that goes towards like so the school splits in two. People who want to go and do your maths, your physics, all that sort of stuff, and then people that want to go and work with hands, bricklaying, electricians, whatever, and then it continues through college. So people actually think, I've learnt something there, I'm now ready for college, not going to college and then thinking, what do I want to do in my life?
Yeah, but also a basic stance on business, on how to run a business as well, isn't it? Do you know
I've
what I
always
mean?
said, credit cards. Teach kids about interest. How everyone I know growing up, I'm sure you'll be the same. As a kid, 18, 19, get your job. I can get a credit card, and they fucking nail a credit card. £5,000 worth of debt when you're 21, whatever. Teach that in school, how things like that work, how a mortgage works, how credit cards work, how just general living works.
Well, they don't teach financial education in schools purely for the fact that they don't want people to know. They need debt slaves to go out and, like I always say to people now, especially because the tuition fees went up for uni, I wouldn't bother. Unless you want to go and become a lawyer or a doctor, and lawyers in the future are going to get gobbled up by AI, I just wouldn't bother.
Yeah, a lot of people it's hard to get a job at the end of it anyway.
60,000 trades, people don't realise you can't replace trades.
No. AI is not going to replace plumbing.
It's scary though, isn't it? Seeing the footage of them robots.
You might get one of Musk's robots trying to do it, but you still, like trades, you still need people to go up a scaffold or whatever.
I see a geezer the other day, and he was mowing like the grass verge by a road, and he had a remote control, like with a big tractor on a remote control. I thought,
just sit on it, mate.
I'd rather be sat on it, cruising around.
I can understand if it was in a dangerous location and you're using that, but
some things, you're taking away human connection, like a robot being a waiter. It's like, you want to be able to speak to someone. You can't tip a robot, can you?
It's just like, but it's like Sainsbury's cashiers, isn't it? All the cashiers are gone, aren't they? They're now boop, self-scan, everything self-scan.
Or you can scan it as you're going round, don't you?
That's only going to get worse, though, because they put the national insurance contribution up for, like, I think Sainsbury's and, was it Waitrose or somebody yesterday came out, so they're going to have a £200 million bill on the staff that they've just currently got, not taking anybody on because of the national insurance charge.
We were talking about that earlier, weren't we?
So you're going to have more self-service checkouts, because they'll be like, well, actually, we can get rid of another 60 members of staff there, and we're still making the same profit.
AI. We've all seen how it ends. We've all seen Terminator.
I'd love a bit of that.
What? Going
I want your boots, your coat, and your motorcycle. You can have what you want, honey, you big naked man.
I'm just going to put the cigar out on your chest now. Go on.
How was the, sort of switching up, how was the 20 years been for you, sort of working for yourself? It's a long time, 20 years.
He's got no
Do you
hair.
know what? Yeah. I've had a flat top when I started. It's been good. That 3 weeks work I had 20 years ago stretched to 20 years. It's been all right. It's the best thing I've ever done. And I always said, again, going back to, it was the time when my kids were young. And I remember when I worked for the company that I worked for before, I think I'd had all my holiday, and I said to them, I need half a day to the Christmas play. You'll understand it. Half a day to go to my kids' Christmas play. You've had all your holiday, Mark. Sorry, you can't have it. And I was like, well, I'm going. And at that point in my head, I went, I don't want to work for a company anymore.
Yeah.
So when I split up and whatnot with my missus and I went on my own, I've never run my business to work every single hour of every day. You could do, and you could earn loads of money. I was never in it for that.
Too busy with his discount codes these days.
MJ Tiff, 25% now. But I was never in it to make loads of money. At the time when I started, it was more to spend time with my kids growing up. You know, if I wanted to have a Friday off, I'd have a Friday off. If I wanted to say to my ex-missus, I'll pick the kids up from school, I could do it.
You don't get that time back, do you?
No, you don't get that time back. But going along the years then, people would always say to me, oh, why don't you take people on? And I was never that person to do that.
Me neither.
I get people do.
It's
good
hard
luck
enough
to
trying to
them.
manage yourself.
Yeah.
Did you try it? Or?
No, I never tried it. I had, at one point, I did 4 or 5 years there was me and another plumber, local plumber to me, and we did work together. And we had a lot coming in. We did a few barn renovations. But then that slowed up a little bit, and I was finding I was pricing jobs up. He was just turning up and doing the jobs that I was pricing. And I remember we went and done a kitchen sink for someone, just to take a stainless steel sink out, put a new ceramic one in, whatever. And I said to him, he went, what have we got Monday? I went, I've got this sink to do, I'll go and do it. And he was like, well, what am I going to do? I went, it's not going to pay for both of us to do it.
No.
And at that point, he was like, I can't work like this, I've got to go and get a job somewhere else. And I went, that's fine, but we can't, you need to bring work in as well.
Yeah.
So we went our separate ways, still see him, went our separate ways. And at that point, I just went, I'm just going to do me. I don't want to go massive. As long as I earn what I know what I need to earn, as long as I can earn that, but it's the time. I want to be able to go, I'll take the kids away.
I went in a partnership. I went on a partnership with my mate for a year. Done it for a year, and I find with a partnership, there's always going to be one that's more dominant.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel. And there's going to be one that's a little bit more knowledgeable, or the one that does a little bit more technical. Do you know what I mean? And I felt, in that respect, I think I was that one in that sense. Do you know what I mean? And I think you start working together, but like we was really, really good mates, like really best mates, yeah. But at the end of it, things start going wrong. No, we're still mates because we nipped it in the bud because a few things went wrong. A couple of people owed us money. One of his family members owed us money and that, and I was getting the ump, and he didn't want to upset the apple cart and stuff like that. And I went in like that, and it sort of like caused a little bit where I went in and I was like, on the after Christmas break, I was like, I don't know if I want this anymore. Like, so we started in the April, and then I said to him, like, we come February, I went, listen, bruv, I said, we're starting to get spiky with each other. I said, I think we should just go back to the way we were. Like, I'd help him on a job,
get him in if
he'd
need
help
be.
me on a job. I said, I think we go back to that because this here is too much pressure on us. Do you know what I mean? To keep this up and like not fall out. And I value our friendship more than
for you. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So we did. That's what we done, and
it works better. You can get him in when you need hand.
We know so many plumbers.
Yeah.
It's good to have a network of people.
I mean, as well, especially on Instagram as well. I mean, I help a few of them out, like on Instagram. They'll help me out or whatever, you know. And it's sort of like you just do it like that, and I like doing that. I'm quite happy to work with anyone, like my mates and that, and go and like give them a day here, and they'll give me a day there. I ain't got a problem. I prefer to work like that and be my own free agent.
Yeah, exactly the same, mate. I get these people that want to take people on and build it. Good luck to them. If that's what you want to do, I get it. But for me,
you got to be a particular mindset.
I could think of nothing worse than stressing, working my bollocks off to keep 3 other blokes going before myself. That's just me.
Feeding the machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. I think you either want to build a business, a massive company.
The hardest bit for that is a lot of people that are in that situation don't want to get off the tools. That is the only way you will ever grow.
Someone said that, didn't they? That's a famous.
Well, Charlie Mullins.
That's it.
Charlie eventually got off, but then even that Taylor Trades that we had on the other week, I was saying to him, I was like, "Has your business grown?" And he's like, "Yeah, since I've come more off the tool."
Yeah, because 2 or 3 people.
That's what you that's what you love.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, 2 or 3 people is
but
not
I wanna
enough
get off
really
the
to
But
give you that
probably-
chance to
No,
come
no,
up
no,
with
You know
it.
what I mean? And most people can't let go of being on the
Because
team.
because at the end of the day, it's a bit like you where you've
It's almost routine again, isn't it?
somebody else is like coming into your business. Well, that's the way I do it, and it's exactly the same. And if you've got other people and they're doing it their way, but it's your business, you'll go,
Yeah.
I don't do it like that. Do you know what I mean?
Even though you get the same result,
yeah,
like I do my plumbing different to you.
Yeah.
So if I've been working on one of your jobs, you go, Mark, don't do it that way, do it.
but we're still going to get the same.
Still going to get the same result. We're still going to get a leak either way, mate. Haven't we?
Well, I might get 2 or 3.
But yeah, it's but me being a sole trader, 20 years, it's been spot on. I've had holidays. I've got a nice house, cars, everything that I want. I've got. The kids don't go without. And now with the grandkids, I can give them the time now. I can go. I'm having Friday off and
Can't believe he's got grandkids.
5 grandkids.
Have you?
Yeah.
You don't look old enough.
When
Stop
it's called
it,
the bloody
Peter.
milkman.
He doesn't.
Milkman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't
Runs
look
in the
old.
family.
Yeah. Always deliver, mate. Always deliver.
I think it's good that you acknowledged early though that you don't want to do that, because a lot of people take people on, get in a massive rut, and then they're
End up bankrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know so many builders and plumbers and whatever local to me that have gone too big too quick and just imploded on themselves.
yeah, because a lot of people are tempted to do it and do end up doing it and think, shit, this ain't easy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It is. It's a tough game, but luckily where I am, there's a lot of work about.
You are lucky because some high-end places, isn't there?
Yeah, where I am,
Stratford, Remington,
Stratford,
Warwick.
Yeah, there's
And you
some
do it on social media now, don't you?
social media. Again, social media was something that come out of nowhere, really. I just sort of looked and went. I just remember watching Pete PB stuff and going, "That's good. I could do that," but put your own little spin on it. And I'm one of these people. If I'm going to do something, I want to research it and find out as much information before I do it. So 6 months before starting YouTube, I'm massive into my car, so I watch a lot of car YouTube stuff. I thought I could bring that element, a bit of a trailer, 30, 40-second trailer at the start, teasing what's coming, little intro, then doing very much a vlog style, fly on the wall sort of style of stuff. So I watch podcasts, watch stuff, listen to stuff about how YouTube channels were built, made before going into it, and then used a lot of that knowledge to get in, start, and go hit the ground running with it, and just enjoyed it. Because at the time there was only, I think there was 2 or 3. There was Jimmy Plumber Parts, Pete, Alan Hart, and another channel really on YouTube that were good channels. So I come along, done mine, and then since then there's been quite a lot pop up, which is great. There's people seem to think you're like in competition with.
You don't want anybody else.
Yeah, you're in competition with other channels, mate. I've said to Chicks before, I'll come down and spend the day working with you.
Yeah.
there's enough pie for everyone.
Oh,
isn't there?
mate, the pie's
People
massive.
people don't realise is the more people that are watching these videos, the more likely
Pushes
they
your
are to-
content.
Yeah, and it's just, like us coming on here, like it's great because I get to come on and talk about a bit about myself, a bit about the business, a bit about the podcast as well, and it's sort of like
Bit of everything.
Something different, isn't it, to be on? Yeah.
Yeah. Plus the
rather than
social,
asking the questions.
plus the social media scene in the construction industry is brilliant. There's a few little things that I don't like about it, but as a whole, especially the plumbing community on Instagram is amazing.
Yeah.
I've always said it's
I don't know if
brilliant.
the other trades, if they have a good. I think electrical is not too bad.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's.
It's not. It's the plumbers are probably the no pun intended the tightest anyway with each other. But I find electrical. It's sort of it's a bit. Oh, yeah,
catty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it catty? Is it?
I think
A bit
so.
more,
Just what you
so,
say.
Like you guys, it's like installers, like you.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, but
Mecca, we're all talking about-
installer is different level, isn't it? It is. You even get all the electricians coming. Everyone comes now because it's the show, isn't it? It's just amazing, brilliant show.
We like it.
I've got to go to a wedding next year on that Thursday.
Well,
you
get them to
might-
move it.
might-
That
might-
don't
might
care,
miss-
and that don't happen,
Who has
mate.
a wedding on a
Have a word.
Thursday?
And my missus was due to
Who's
drop.
getting
That
married?
was
Oh,
her-
yeah, she was,
That was
wasn't
her
she?
due date, and then I think she got induced a few days before, which meant I could still go.
Yeah.
I was sitting there thinking, you're going to drop when I'm in the middle of this bloody exhibition, aren't you? Like, trying to get out the NEC, like running to the car.
I'll just have to leave on a Thursday morning.
What days is it? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah. The week, innit? You just got the week off.
So who's getting married on a Thursday?
Everyone does in the week now because I think
It's
it's like
cheaper,
a £5,000
yeah.
saving to do.
I
it.
got married on a bank holiday. No, in fact, I was due to get married on a bank holiday Monday because it was like £6,000 cheaper. And
Well,
then I
bank holiday, at least everyone's off still.
True, but
Thursday, everyone's got to take the day off work, ain't they?
And you're going to be on over Friday, so you're going in Friday.
Get smashed, and they got the Tuesday.
Cost you more money.
Yeah,
They save, but it costs
To
you
be
more
fair,
money.
did I get married on a Friday?
COVID kicked in, and then I ended up getting married on a Sunday instead.
Oh,
The Sabbath.
God's day.
Yeah.
What, in the church?
No, it was like a converted barn, but we had the ceremony in the converted barn.
I got married in a converted barn.
Oh, don't jinx me, Pete.
A shed in his garden.
Yeah, fucked, mate.
Yeah, mate, yeah, they don't go well, them converted barn weddings.
Underfloor eating's lovely, though.
Did you ever take on an apprentice at all? Because it's hard graft doing it on your own.
Again, this is
He's
a one
antisocial over it.
it gets asked so many, and you all ask the same sole traders will say the same thing. I find I'd love to take an apprentice on, but investing that much time when it's just you is so hard.
Yeah.
I always say, I get loads of people asking me, would you take an apprentice on? And I always say, find a company with 4 or 5 blokes, and you can do 6 months with that one, 6 months with that one. It does. Sometimes it makes me feel really bad that I can't. Putting all the content on social media, YouTube, and all that. I
suppose
feel
that
bad.
takes your time.
Yeah,
as well
but
now.
That does
in
take
a
a lot
way,
of
though,
time.
right? Yeah, but you're actually sort of like giving back a bit there, aren't you, by showing people how to do things and that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If like youngsters want to look at it that way, you've got apprentices out there in the social media world. Do you know what I mean? Who are just taking tips and tricks off of you and learning. And that's helping them with their apprenticeships. I wouldn't feel bad about it. I used to have apprentices work for us when I used to sub off a company. I had an apprentice work with me, or a couple of apprentices. Some of them are fucking useless. You're not. Do you know what I mean?
What did you do an apprenticeship?
This is where it gets a bit tricky, isn't it? I worked for a company.
3-day course, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I never passed out. I don't give a shit. I never passed out on my plumbing apprenticeship.
Did you not?
Went done level 2, and then I just went and left. We left college. I don't think I got my level 2. We left college because we was always going up the golf range rather than going into college. We was like, because what we come into the plumbing industry at about the age of 20, 21, and we was flat bashers. So we went to a company and worked flat bashing. That's what we done every day in, day out, hard graft.
Yeah.
But after
You're
6
gonna have
months,
nothing to talk about next week now.
but after 6 months, after 6 months, we was like, we could do boilers and rads to whole flats. Do you know what I mean? We'd learnt that. But only that.
Yeah.
Nothing varied or anything like that. So we went to college at night school because we was working in the day, but we never ended up finishing it. In the end, we all went out on our own and done our own gas safes and all that.
But then you learn while you're out there, don't you?
Yeah.
You're probably like me. You can look at something and break it down. It's simple if you've got that mentality in your brain to look at a heating system and go, right, that valve works, that does that, this, that. If you break it down, you can work out how they work.
Yeah.
So if you've got half a clue there.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've done a lot of learning on site. When I was working on my own, I was working until 10 o'clock at night sometimes, doing electrics, controls, working out relays and stuff. Like just working it out or phoning up and getting the info to work this system. I wouldn't give up at it. I'd do it and I'd get it done. I always got it done. Whatever the problem was or thing I had to get over, I'd always get over it. Whatever way, I'd find a way. So you do learn an awful lot when you go on your own.
Yeah. You have to because you've got no one else to lean on.
Yeah.
So you do automatically, like you say, it's got to work.
It's a risk. It's a risk because if you fuck something up bad, then you got to pay for it, innit? You know what I mean?
Depends what work you've done. If you go and work for yourself and you're doing everything and you've only just done, I don't know, bathrooms and you go into heating, it's another realm,
Steep
isn't it?
learning curve.
Well, I worked for a company for 7 or 8 years, however long, and did pretty much everything. We done house bashing, site work, then we done commercial stuff, big boiler installs, underfloor heating. So the range was massive. And then when I went on my own, I was pretty confident that there was not a lot that I didn't have half a clue about. So that sort of held me in good stead to just go off. And then As soon as you've got half a clue in it and you get to something that you're not too sure about, say it was pressurised cylinders or whatever, you look and just learn and go, right, okay, breaking it down. That's all you got to do is take your time, break it down, and there'll be a way to do it.
Or watch Mark Tiff's YouTube
Yeah,
channel. You can find out how to do things.
All in the description below.
Enjoy Tiff, 25% off.
But again, people putting content out, like all of us who put content out now, is that's your college course, that's your on your job
resource,
training. Yeah, you get so many apprentice people, lads, girls, saying thanks for putting that content out. I've learned more from your videos than we did at college. They've got to tick the paperwork, haven't they? At college, they've got to, you know.
Have you seen his how-to videos though?
Mine.
Yeah, you was
The best
putting
one,
bread in a copper.
The best one was the tool bag.
On the back of the van.
I loved that.
yeah.
Absolutely. Because
Yeah, I was gutted that they didn't really. I don't think they put that on their page. Did they
Vita.
put it on their page? They put it on their page, but they had to change the music because the music I put on
Copyright.
it, they couldn't use it. It was like that.
it's probably in the US.
Yeah.
Because of
I think I had to delete it off my page though, so they could put it on theirs, and then they put the music back on
You
it.
hadn't
But
collaborated
yeah, I
with
said
them.
to my mate about that. He got a fishing lake, my mate.
Yeah.
And I said, "Let me come up your lake." He went, "Why? You don't fish."
I want to drag a
I
tool
went, I
bag down.
need to make a video. What are you doing? I've got to drag a tool bag up your road
Yeah.
at 30 mile an hour.
Of course you have, Pete. What else were you doing on Thursday?
What's this all about then? Well, you know, we're just
Good video there.
doing content.
Yeah.
It's a good creative idea, though, isn't it?
It's all about thinking of ideas and out of the box. Some people will generically just put the same stuff out, but it's designating a day to make that content, to make it hit, make it fire. You know, you must have you stand-up stuff. You've got to put time into that.
Not enough.
But to make it work, if you want it to work, you've got to invest that time.
That's the thing, isn't it? Like I could be better if I invested the time, but I don't invest the time. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you've got this, you've got that, you've got your actual work.
And I watched the CEO. Have you watched the CEO podcast, Jimmy Carr?
Yes.
That opened my eyes.
Yeah.
That was
a good one.
A really great podcast. And I was like,
He's quite. I've got to give it to him. He comes across quite well.
he does, doesn't he? It's like
Take him off the stage
quite
and actually
wise.
there.
But what you got to remember on the stage is a persona. It's a bit like what I do, like on Instagram. It's all a persona. Do you know what I mean? It's an exaggerated persona.
Caricature, isn't it?
Or like doing the character thing now is trying to protect yourself a bit because we all want to say stuff. But if I say it as me, then I'll get battered for it and like personally battered for it. Whereas if you say it as a character, what everybody's thinking, then you yourself don't really get that mould for it. But we'll talk about tips and tricks. Probably don't take advice from the tips and tricks that I show you. Generally speaking, they're a piss take. Disclaimer, don't stick a bit of flapjack in a pipe to stop the water coming out.
Yeah, but that used to be a thing.
The
bread used to be a thing, didn't it?
It was just a piss take from me.
Yeah.
I think people see it, and that a lot of people took it seriously. Oh, that trick's been out ages, and I think to myself, well, yeah, but it's just
The fun police slander.
It's just taking the piss, isn't it? You know what I mean?
It's people get really territorial about content, don't they? I done that first. I done that tap trick. Do you know what blew up was the one on a stainless steel sink, putting a tap in.
I done that.
I remember doing that.
Yeah.
15 years ago, 10 years ago. All of a sudden, someone's put it on Instagram, and someone else has done it. I thought of that.
Yeah.
Well,
You didn't, yeah.
I know.
But people get so territorial about a little bit of content.
I done it, and I think it was James the Plumber who I see it off of, and I actually even said on the video, I went, I see a bloke called James the Plumber do this, and give him the credit for it.
Yeah.
Done it, and it hit about 2 million views.
Yeah,
It went mental. James the Plumber's going, wow, where are all these followers coming from? Do you know what I mean? And I was like, but then people have done it after and that. Well, yeah, it was just content, but people getting like thingy about it, going, but we're all plumbers. We're all going to do the same shit.
Of course we are.
It's like, you're not going to sold a bit of pipe. I sold a bit of pipe last week.
Yeah.
He's copying me.
He didn't have his torch at 98 degrees, not 97.
Yeah, no,
Fuck
do you know
off,
what I
mate.
mean? It's just like, well, you're all going to brush over the same subject matter. It's just how you do it and
People
how
buy
you
into
put
the
your
person
bit-
as well, don't
Yeah,
they? It's
yeah.
not just about the content.
100%. But that's like with podcasts, people buy into the people that you have on a podcast, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, we've done podcasts where they'll hit massively. We've had ones that aren't, where you think that's a really good story, and the guests you've had on as brilliant,
and then it doesn't hit.
It just doesn't hit, and you're like, go and watch this or go and listen to this because it's a really good story.
Yeah.
And it's finding it you know.
We're still learning, so we're like taking notes down there. But it's like,
Well, we still learn, and we're like 3.5 years.
it's a tough gig though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is a tough gig to get it going.
People don't realise when they watch the content, like booking guests, getting them in, late cancellations on the day where people don't turn up, the cameras, the equipment, everything.
I mean, you was meant to be in yesterday, weren't you?
For the amount of stuff that goes into it.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like the same with where people get the green eye monster about, look how big they are on social. But if you knew the amount of hours that certain people are sticking in, it's like, it's hard work.
Yeah,
You've
put it in to
If you want to do it properly as well, I'm one of
Yeah.
those. I'm all in on nothing.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, you've got to try and do it properly.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
There's no point dipping your toe in and then it comes across as shit.
yeah.
I think we're doing all right. It's like I say, I think again with the social thing, like why we got you in, I think we all we all go together, we all help each other, support each other, and then everyone thrives, don't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's
Well, people who watch your content are then going to watch our content, and they're going to watch that might feed off to my YouTube channel, and then they'll go from there to your Instagram. But that's how it works. People seem to think there's like a rivalry, even between YouTube channels, social media accounts, podcasts. You all work together.
Yeah.
Just have fun together. Everyone, behind the scenes, everyone's mates.
But do you know what? Right, so there's podcasts and that. Did you ever see that thing on line? There's podcast wars. You know, between all the big. Did you ever see that? Like James English, and then there was another guy. You know, all these like.
I haven't got time for that shit, to be honest.
But there was like loads of like stuff being slung at each other and that. It was a proper thing going on. Yeah, like I can't remember the name of the other guy. He's like a crime podcast one and this that and them ones.
Podcast wars.
Yeah, it was. There's a thing on there about
Podcast
podcast
beefs.
Yeah.
But we don't want that. We're like,
I don't get it. I
You
mean,
just got to stick to what you're doing, stay in your lane, and just keep doing what you're
the
doing.
thing is, you could have a similar guest on, or even the same guest on to us, but the way that you interview or the way that you like format the show could be completely different, and then it's like watching a completely different episode.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, I always just say there's loads of room for everybody, and it's great to have. The more podcasts that there are, the more the industry's getting noticed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The more YouTubers there are, the better it is, especially for apprentices that want to come on and learn off different people and see different ways of doing things.
You see a few of the people going around colleges in that, don't you? Who are big on social media.
I think that's
Yeah, you should use online for learning. I see a video the other day. A guy said he don't follow any of his, like, I say high school because he was American, but any school friends or anything like that. He just follows people that he learns from. I thought that's quite smart. Rather than just scrolling through shit that you don't even care about.
Well, that's what they're like in China, isn't it?
What?
It's all educational on their TikToks and all that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Follow people that you're actually going to learn from.
Yeah.
Everything
There's a
you
lot of
see.
content out there that is massively beneficial to every trade. You can put anything in, can't you? And it will bring up content. It's just making the right content that's going to get noticed and taken the right way. Like you say, you do the piss take one, but there are people that will see that and go, is that actually a thing? Like someone done a video the other day, put in the drain off was leaking, and they just rammed some CT1 up the end, pumped it full of CT1, and I think the reel blew up.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, you've got the views on it, but I think in the comments there was loads of people going, is that actually what you do? And people within the industry know it's not, but people looking in might go, is that a thing?
Yeah, that's why you got to do a disclaimer. Then.
You've got to be really careful because people will see it and then could get in the shit.
You got to do a disclaimer.
But it's that obvious.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that. I've got one coming up that I've not had the chance to do yet. Where I'm going to put a disclaimer at the end of it by actually saying, "Listen, and if you believe this, then you
Put
need
your
to
tools away.
You need to hand yourself into a secure unit, straight away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man.
Yeah, it's been nice having you on.
Was there anything else we wanted to chat about? Is
Anything?
anything you guys want to chat about more? Anything that we haven't covered yet that we're not going to cover next week or whatever?
Discount code is 25% off Unilight. I got rinsed for this. Right, so my discount codes.
Come on.
Because he's always on holiday bashing them out.
Should have brought Unilight and just whacked it on the
Well,
table.
like, hang on.
Yeah, go on.
I get grief sometimes on socials. Some of it's warranted, some of it ain't. But discount codes, I'm making a few quid from them. Joe Bloggs is saving a few quid on the lights, and Unilight or whatever company is earning out of it. Everybody's winning, but you still get people going, fucking hell, more discount codes. Do you not want to save money?
Yeah.
If the product ain't for you, be it whatever apps or whatever,
But that's that is the half measure where in Britain people are not happy for you doing well.
Well, not even that. Like I look at it and think, well, if you did, like if I was starting in trades now, I'd be looking at all the people that are sponsored by brands and thinking, how can I do it? Or how did they do that? Or maybe I could try this to. If that's what you want to do, don't just sit there and go, oh, it's shit because I'm not getting paid. Do you know what I mean? Sit there and think, well, if I maybe got in contact with Mark, might give me some advice on it, because everybody wants to give the advice.
Yeah.
People got to understand as well, it's very hard to create a long-term thing off this social media stuff. It's more, so people get too caught up in it, thinking they're going to do it as a full-time job, but it's not that easy. No. Look at it as more like something on the side, and it sort of helps you financially.
Just supplements what you do with your work. Never look at it as.
But on that thing about discount codes, you're the prime one to say how beneficial offering them out.
Well, we've got a page on the website for Trade Legends where we don't get anything from it, but I've got probably 45, 50 brands where they've got discount codes that tradesmen and women can go on and type in their email. All I ask is for an email, because occasionally we send out offers on the email for some of the sponsors.
Might be a sale at Unilight.
No, but some of the sponsors will send like offers out, which again, we don't make anything off. But I've done it because I was like, actually, if I can get somebody like 10% off at somewhere or 15% off somewhere else, or actually some workwear, they get 30% off their workwear. Like actually you can go and kick yourself out with all these different discount codes and you saved a load of money.
There is a discount code I want.
Which is?
For your teeth. So I can get a new set.
I'll tell you what, if there was a discount code for my teeth, I would have had one. But that, even stuff like that, like trying to give something back where I don't make anything from it. And it took me probably to get 50 codes off people, because you message somebody, can you get, I'll set you up a code, and then you chase them for 2 weeks because they don't do it. So it's like probably over a year and a half just to get 50 discount codes for people. But my thing was, that's sort of saying, oh, well, if you watch the show, thanks for watching the show.
Give and take, isn't it?
Save you some money. But,
What's the biggest animal you can take down?
What?
Well,
single-handedly.
Before we do that, I'm going to say, subscribe to the podcast for these guys. And we're going to
call to arms.
And we're going to have these guys on the.
Yeah, we're going to.
We're going to theirs.
You're coming up to our gaff.
Yeah.
So
I'll show you mine if you.
I love it. I love this question. What's the biggest? It's done on loads on podcasts, but what's the biggest animal that you reckon you could take down single-handed? Could you fight a gorilla or a cow? Could you take a cow on? You could get a cow on the floor.
Cow tipping,
cow tipping's a thing. I've done that.
You must have been a
cow
Milkman.
tipping is a thing.
Yeah.
I think
and
a cow,
it's fucking brilliant. Go to a field in the summer when the cows are asleep. Cows will sleep standing up.
Need a disclaimer for this.
Do we need to RSPCA for
Yeah, maybe. Well, you might be able to cut this one out. But go to a field in the summer when the cows are stood up. Cows will sleep standing up. You've got to run at the cow.
If I saw him in a fucking field,
you've got to run at it. You've got to run at it, shoulder barge it, and it will go. It will go down because it sleeps. So the moment it hits the floor, it's up. Right. You have got to run because those cows can move. Genuinely, they can move. They can move. Genuinely, they will come after you. But to see a cow...
Don't wear a red cape,
to see a cow go like that is unreal.
I think I'll tackle its legs.
Could you imagine?
What?
I'll tackle its legs. I'll do a rugby tackle straight to the
and you saw him
ankles.
Straight. It took a cow out.
Took a cow out.
I reckon. I mean, I might need you for my ex. Sorry.
What do you reckon?
What is the biggest animal?
I reckon a sheep for me. I'm not very big.
I've had this. It's like one of my mates said a sheep. Sheep's are quite heady, aren't they? They'll fucking
imagine
give
trying
it.
to get a goat down.
Goat, yeah. I reckon you'd struggle to get a goat on the floor.
They're a bit nippy, aren't they?
I reckon
a llama.
Or all necky, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like that.
I reckon a pink flamingo. They stand on one leg, don't they?
What about an ostrich?
Huh?
They're flipping.
If a bird was in here, if a pigeon was in here,
especially
I would not be in here. Hate pigeons. Hate birds.
Mine's flat.
Hate birds.
I'll tell you what, right? We went to the zoo the other week and there was this parakeet enclosure.
Yeah.
and she's got the old nectar out. They give you nectar. Well, friggin' heck, mate, you'd have hated it. I'm holding this nectar, and it's a bit like you know in the
and it's coming at you.
You know in Home Alone 2.
Not a chance. Not all on your arms. Not a chance. If there was one bird in here, a pigeon knocking around in here,
all on the heads, on the arms, everything, claws in your hands, the lot.
You know that house I renoed and you came to get a film in there? So after everything was done, all the paint, all the carpets in, a pigeon got through the window when we were airing the house.
Yeah.
And literally shat all over the bathroom.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And was smacking against the bedroom window trying to get out. And eventually they got the thing out, but like it fucking shat everywhere. All over like the paintwork, everything.
Couldn't have gone in there. Hate them. I think it's the way birds look either way.
Is it the bird? Is it the film? Did you see the film The Birds or something?
I reckon I have.
No,
Is that where they peck the woman's head? No, The Omen. One of the omens, the woman gets attacked by the birds pecking her
So
head.
you can't get in a loft if there's a bird in there.
No,
So you wouldn't rescue. I've had to rescue a bird out the
Can't
back of a
touch 'em.
fireplace. I had to take the fireplace out to get the
Yeah, I've
bird
got a
out. 'Cause
pigeon
it had gone
once,
through
I
the
think.
chimney.
I had one that went through the front of my Citroen Saxo and chopped the head off, and the body was still in the front. So I had to get a
Flapping
bin
around.
liner and.
What about a dead one? You're
No,
right with
I
them?
hate them.
About
Something about birds, I can't.
my dog brings like pheasants home every night. I'm like,
birds.
this is funny, right? So when I lived at my old house,
Fuck off if you didn't have to chat.
my father-in-law, God bless him, he's dead now, right? So one day, right, we had pheasants all in our garden, right, and he's got one of these air gun things, right. Anyhow, the missus at the time, she phones me up. She goes, "You should see him. He's out the bathroom window trying to shoot this pheasant, right?" And it's literally, she's going, "He's tickling the pheasant. This air gun. He's crap, right?" Anyway, I've got home and he's outside the bathroom window like that, right? And I gone, just leave it. Like, it's just hopping about in the garden. I don't know if he'd injured it or anything. Anyway, he goes back out and he's got this like
Fucking Colt 45.
this air pistol, right? He's gone out there. He's come back in, right, with it after about half hour and he's got it on string. Oh, would it fucking hang itself? Because it was
Batting the bullet's back.
It was done. It was done, kept getting... And he hung it up in my bloody like, basement, right? And I swear the bloodstains are still there. He goes, "You've got to hang them up
Yeah.
and you've got to wait until the maggots are coming out of them before you..." I was like, I am not eating that.
No.
I'm not eating that without a
I never knew
maggot.
you had a
or
bird
with
phobia.
Oh, mate,
Can't wait
hate
till
them. Birds and clowns.
Is it?
Oh,
Is that
he's
from
one of
watching it?
them.
Clowns.
Is that
I
from
don't know.
watching it?
No, I
Pennywise.
think the clown
Pennywise.
is from Poltergeist. There's a bit in there.
Down here, Billy, we all float.
No, I don't mind that. But yeah, clowns and birds. You got to have a phobia.
Frogs is mine.
And you're going at me for fucking birds.
Frogs, like, because they just sit there like that, and you go to catch them. I can't. I literally. I have to get the missus out.
Frogman. Frogger.
I'm behind you, babe.
I had to take
Well, sure, you got to have a phobia.
I don't
Can't
really.
think of
I
one.
don't know.
Hecklers.
Nah.
But you know, like a big, massive, like in
Warty
Australia,
toad.
they get like cane toads, and they are big.
I mean, I don't think I've really got.
I don't have a strong phobia. Like,
Heights or anything like that.
No, I don't.
no,
Have I?
I don't like love heights, but I don't have a phobia.
don't think I've
Snakes,
really
rats.
I mean, yeah,
me and
rats
you in a
ain't
room
good.
full of frogs and
Yeah,
pigeons.
I mean rats ain't good, are they? I
chilly,
remember
aren't they?
opening up a gas meter cupboard once, and this fucking rat, it must have been about that big. Right?
Come
It
out
just
at you.
crawled up this pot. I was like,
Yeah.
Get your rat out.
no. I pick up dead rats and all that, not a problem, but
No, when it's
yeah,
not with my teeth looking at you.
because they're vicious little fuckers.
Yeah.
They? Do you know what I mean? They can be.
Yeah, they can. You got nothing there, Keiran?
I don't like rats, don't like snakes, but I don't really have like a phobia. Like,
So
I wouldn't
someone put a
say-
snake round your neck, you'd be
I
alright
wouldn't
with it.
say like
I'd
if
cope with it. Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't say if there was a rat
He's
in a
bloody-
property, it
Isn't
wouldn't
your cousin or
deter
your
me
uncle
from going in
Cobra?
there. It wouldn't deter me to go into a property if I knew there was rats.
Oh,
in
if
there.
I sort of went in a loft to work up in a loft and there was a bird flapping around in there, not going up there. Not a
Not
chance.
a chance.
Not a fucking
I'd
chance.
love one of your customers
Mate.
to get you round and there's a big fuck off pigeon.
If we was in here and a bird flew in, I would squeal. Wow!
What, even a little robin?
Nah, I think it's pigeon.
A
Robin.
little red breast?
blue tit.
I think it's like pigeons. Because
Right.
they fucking give it all this, don't they?
Yeah.
Flapping around, battering off the fucking walls.
How's it going?
Right.
But ironically, I quite like eagles. I think like a big, a bird that will rip your head off.
Yeah.
I think that'll.
You'll have that land on your arm, will you?
Yeah, come on,
But a
mate.
sparrow?
Sparrow.
No, you're all right, mate.
Blue tit. Yeah, birds, mate. See?
Pigeons.
This is what podcasts are about, learning little bits, nuggets of information.
Nuggets.
Whereas Keiran's not scared of
Pigeons.
nothing, mate.
Who's
No,
got?
I am.
Is it your uncle's cobra?
Uncle, yeah.
Uncle, yeah. Well, he can't be scared of snakes, can they? With an Uncle Cobra.
Cool cobra. Spitting cobra.
Some people, though, they can't even, if they're scared of snakes, they can't even watch a TV with the snakes on it. That's what
That's weird.
my mother-in-law's fella was like. No, I can't watch it. Couldn't watch Indiana Jones. Couldn't watch it. He's
I
like,
can
"No."
watch their shit, aren't they?
Yeah, that'll be it. That's a good way to end it, isn't it? Indiana Jones was shit.
But no, enjoyed coming on, boys.
Yeah, thank you for
thanks
coming
for
on.
coming.
It's been good.
Yeah.
It's been good fun.
So go and support them.
Yeah.
Look down that camera, do you?
Which camera am I on? This one. Get on Off the Job Podcast. Like, subscribe, hit the link below, drop a comment, get involved.
Done.
Cheers, thank you.
Thanks very much. Trade
You can-
legends.
You can have him on the hands.
All right, this has been another episode of Off the Job Podcast.
Thanks for watching the show on YouTube or listening on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, and all other streaming platforms.
If it's your first time watching or not, make sure to subscribe below and follow us on all the big social media stuff like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
For our overtime show on Monday, send us in your stories and comments for it to be read out on the show. Send it in via email, direct message through our social media accounts, or WhatsApp us on 07457 406 259.
And we'll see you on the next episode.